My best friend took it upon herself to deliver my love letter to the school bully. She even said that the bully agreed and asked me to kiss him publicly so he could reveal our relationship. In reality, she was already with the school bully. I just smiled and said, okay, a kiss. Then I turned and kissed the childhood friend who had always been by my side in my past life. My childhood friend was baffled. Thank heavens, I've been reborn. Reborn before my best friend swapped our fortunes and beauty. Have you ever heard of fortune swapping? It's when someone sticks by your side, relies on you, imitates you, seduces you, and eventually, they take away all the good luck and even the beauty that belongs to you. In my past life, Tangy did exactly that to me. As the holiday approached, the school organized a party, the school bully, Shangwei, performed a street dance, and Tangy instigated me to go up and kiss him at the end. She just wanted me to be rejected on the spot and humiliated in front of the whole school. On the way to the auditorium, Tangy affectionately came over to link arms with me. I used to think she did it because she liked me, now I know. She just wanted to increase physical contact to gradually swap our fortunes. I held my books in front of my chest and subtly avoided her. Buzz, buzz, my phone vibrated. The teacher announced the shortlist for the design competition in our class group. Thoughtfully tagging each student, my name, Ruan Xiang, was prominently on the list. Tangy was more excited than I was, and she made a move to hug me. I stepped forward to dodge her. She missed and fell empty, yet her tone was still cheerful, as if she was the winner. Xiang, you're so awesome. You're definitely going to win the grand prize this time. Yes, if everything that's mine ends up being hers, of course she'd be happy. The prize is 100,000 yuan. Don't forget to treat me to something nice, I scoffed. What if I don't win the grand prize? Don't worry, the grand prize will definitely be yours. If not, I'll treat you to a big meal. I remember it clearly. The winner of the grand prize was Wengu, my childhood friend who grew up with me. I won the first prize, with a prize of 5,000 yuan, but Tangy always did this. No matter what I did, she always elevated my expectations to the highest. Winning a prize should have been a happy occasion. But she kept hinting I could achieve better, endlessly raising my expectations. So when reality didn't meet those expectations, I felt psychologically unbalanced. What should have been a celebration turned into dissatisfaction and complaints. She would also speak ill of the people who ranked ahead of me, unscrupulously siding with me and comforting me. This prevented me from knowing my true capabilities and from progressing. The longer this resentment built up, the less good fortune I had, it turns out. Those who only offer sweet words are not truly friends. In the auditorium, Tangy specifically chose seats near the stage. Xiang, come sit here. It was nothing more than wanting to get me closer to the center. I went ahead and sat down. Well, since you want to play this game, I'll play along fully. The show still had some time before starting. I opened my textbook to review today's lessons. Just as I reached the second point, I was suddenly dazzled by a flash. Instinctively, I looked towards the source of the light. A skinny boy was holding up his phone, his face flushed red. As our eyes met, he quickly lowered his head and hid behind the chair. His buddies beside him teased and encouraged him. Go for it, Song Jing. Haven't you liked Goddess Ruan Xiang for a long time?
Yeah.
At least talk to her. Hurry up, hurry up. A boy named Song Jing clenched his fists as if he had made a big decision. He lowered his head and rushed up to me. Senior Ruan, I'm sorry for secretly taking photos just now. It was wrong of me, he said, quickly bowing deeply at a 90-degree angle. I helped him up and said with a smile, it's all right, how about we take a photo together? Really, can we? He asked. I turned to Tangy and handed her Song Jing's phone. Of course. Tangy, could you take a photo of us? Tangy, caught off guard by my sudden request and managed to mask her rolling eyes with a forced smile. Sure, Xiang is really popular, isn't she? Her tone barely hid her jealousy as I smiled even wider for the camera. Our school focuses on academics and doesn't really do contests for the most attractive students, but it's obvious to anyone with eyes who looks good and who doesn't. Song Jing almost skipped back to his seat. Bro, you're the man. His friends teased him. Getting a photo with the goddess Ruan Xiang is even more thrilling than beating me. My stomach rumbled with hunger since I hadn't eaten anything yet. I turned back and winked at Wengu. Wengu, I'm hungry. I had noticed Wengu sitting behind me while taking the photo with Song Jing. He always seemed to be there, quietly invisible, silently watching over me. This time, I wanted to acknowledge him. Wengu looked up from his textbook. His dark hair framing eyes that shined brighter than the stars, he stared at me, stunned, as if confirming whether I was really speaking to him. Seeing his bewildered expression, I couldn't help but tease him a bit. So, the bread wasn't for me, huh? I pouted. Before I could even turn away, Wengu handed me a small loaf of bread from his bag, whispering, it's for you. It always has been. I knew it always had been. Wengu had started carrying chocolate bread for me since I was a child because of my anemia, a habit that hadn't changed over the years, though I hadn't noticed it in my past life. Tangy reached over to snatch my bread, exclaiming, you can't eat that. You'll get fat. Such petty actions often have repercussions, like attracting bad luck to oneself first. No wonder Tang Yi was more critical of my lifestyle than even my mother. I stuffed the bread into my mouth and mumbled, I'll get fat if I want. What's it to you? After all, I was anemic and not actually overweight. Tang Yi had been dragging me to diet, which only made me feel worse. The host took the stage, and the evening event began quickly when Shang Wei, the school tyrant, appeared. Cries of admiration erupted from his fangirls below the stage. Ah! He's so handsome, Shang Wei, I love you. I could only give a wry smile, remembering how in my previous life, I too was one of those fangirls. Truthfully, Shang Wei wasn't that handsome. Any tall guy who isn't overweight and dresses up a bit looks pretty decent. It was his bad boy allure that had drawn me to him. People always want what they lack, and I had always been the good girl. What's there to like about a school tyrant? Really, nothing more than a thug with money and influence, often the instigator of most school bullying. Luckily, life had given me a second chance. As Shang Wei's performance ended, Tang Yi stood up like an old madam and announced, everyone, please quiet down, and could the lighting technician spotlight us? Ruan Xiang has something to do. Everyone knew I had a crush on Shang Wei, and her timing to quiet everyone down seemed calculated to stir up trouble, evidenced by the whistles that began to sound from the crowd. In my previous life, I foolishly went on stage to kiss Shang Wei, only to be publicly rejected by him. I became the laughingstock of the school and never recovered from that downfall. Tang Yi took advantage of my vulnerability, comforting me daily, until she eventually stole my luck and beauty. As I stood up, I saw Shang Wei's impatiently raised eyebrow. Tang Yi anxiously pushed me outwards. In a turn, I kissed Wengu instead. The whole room was in uproar. Wengu's eyes lit up, his long eyelashes trembling slightly. Seeing the redness slowly forming in Wengu's eyes, my heart sank even more. Wengu, I've liked you for a long time. Can we be together? I asked. The front row seats were lower than the back, and I leaned forward to kiss Wengu. The auditorium was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Just as I was about to lose my balance, without hearing any response, suddenly a pair of strong hands supported my waist. The owner of the hands was trembling, and Wengu closed his eyes. After taking a deep breath, he stuttered passionately, "CONF, confessing like this, how could I let you do it?" Wengu's Adam's apple bobbed twice, tears shimmering in his eyes as he choked up and asked, Ruan Xiang, will you be my lover? His gaze held me as if I were a rare treasure. My heart ached sharply. In my last life, after I died, Wengu visited my grave every day. He kept me company watching the sunset, rain or shine. Just because I had once told him I wanted to watch the sunset with my lover every day, Wengu visited so often that he became familiar with the old caretaker of the graves. Young man, who is buried here for you. My lover. Calling her a girlfriend seemed too trivial. Please allow me to address you as my lover. In my last life, until my death, I never let Wengu's secret admiration see the light of day. This life, under the brightest stage lights, I loudly said, yes. We kissed under the gaze of countless eyes. Surrounding us were sobs, cheers, and mostly applause of blessings. Only one overly sharp voice stood out. Tang Yi pulled me away, hysterically questioning, weren't you in love with the school tyrant Shang Wei? Why did you kiss Wengu? Wengu frowned slightly. I thought he was jealous and angry. Instead, he disdainfully helped me pull away Tang Yi's arm. After freeing me, he made a face as if his hands were dirty and he couldn't wash them immediately. His expression was quite expressive. It turns out that although Wengu seemed reserved, he had such an adorable side. Shang Wei on stage also rarely lifted his cap and gave me a proper look. His gaze was still proud, but now tinged with a bit of playfulness and loss. I looked at Tang Yi and said word by word, because I like Wengu. Truly, hearing my response, Wengu quickly looked down at his toes. His ears turned a shade of pink, betraying his owner's feelings. He was not as calm as he appeared. Seeing things not going her way, Tang Yi glared furiously and exploded. How is that possible? You clearly liked Shang Wei, and you always had me help you give him things. I did indeed like Shang Wei once, from breakfasts and drinks to sneakers and watches. I had given them all. I thought I was secretly expressing my affection, but because of Tang Yi's proactive help, it became embarrassingly public. I was Shang Wei's lackey, yet every time, it was Tang Yi who delivered the gifts. It was Tang Yi who stood beside the school tyrant, and it was Tang Yi who spent the most time with the school tyrant. She claimed to be helping me, holding on to my things. Tang Yi played matchmaker for me and Shang Wei. Whenever asked who the gift was from, she would coyly smile ambiguously. Girls shouldn't be too forward. Being reserved is what attracts boys. Xiang, you're not like me. I'm more forthright. It's easy for me to talk to them. These were common phrases Tang Yi would often say, but when she went to help me deliver gifts, no matter how cold it was, she'd wear short skirts and long boots with bare legs. Over time, Shang Wei's friends started to see Tang Yi as their sister-in-law. But where in the world is there such a good deal? Whatever Tang Yi took from me, I vowed to take back double. I scoffed lightly, my laughter filled with scorn. What, isn't the school hunk the one you like? College students, though clear-eyed, aren't fools. My question, coupled with the rumors swirling around, made it easy to guess that Tang Yi, using her role as a matchmaker, had stolen the man her friend liked. It's not terrible for two sisters to fall for the same person. What disgusts me is the pretense of disinterest while secretly competing. Such covert rivalry is really low. I said, exposing her true intentions while she was reluctant to clear things up with the school hunk. Tang Yi was momentarily speechless, scrambling for words, but managed only one. This reaction, witnessed by others, confirmed her actions. By the time she thought to counter, it was too late. Suddenly, she remembered something and pulled out a love letter from her bag that she was supposed to pass from me to the school hunk. She glanced at me triumphantly, then began to cry. Ruan Xiang, you knew I liked Sheng Wei, so why did you write him a love letter? What a revelation. Suddenly, I'm the shameless one. I avoided Tang Yi's gaze, pretending to be deeply hurt, leaning weakly on Wengu's shoulder. Wengu stiffened, his fists clenched. I gently took his hand, signaling him not to be impulsive. Seeing this, Tang Yi, with a raised eyebrow, triumphantly read the love letter aloud. Sheng Wei, do you know how much I like you? Because I like you, I am humbled to the dust, willing to be called your lapdog. As Tang Yi read emotively, the surrounding students occasionally shot me disdainful looks. Is this still the goddess I admired? This is really shameless. I'm stunned. In my previous life, it was amid such public opinion that I gradually broke down. I nestled into Wengu's embrace. Trembling slightly, laughing, Tang Yi suddenly stopped reading. I snatched the love letter from her hand. Why stop? Let me help you. Let's see. The signature is, your forever lapdog. Tang Yi. What? So Tang Yi is the lapdog. I was terrified. I thought my goddess had fallen. I stepped between the school hunk and Tang Yi, my gaze fixed on Tang Yi. Tang Yi, I know you like Sheng Wei. I also know you've been hesitant to confess because you're afraid of rejection. Always pretending it's on my behalf. Today is a good opportunity to express your feelings. By the way, about the money you borrowed from me to buy things for Sheng Wei, please return it. The total is exactly 58,000 WeChat or Alipay. Since you like taking my things as your own favors, why not pay out of your own pocket? Caught in a difficult position, Tang Yi squeezed out 3 words through gritted teeth. Alipay. Ironically, there wasn't enough money in her Alipay account. I only received 57,750 on Alipay, the remaining 250. Send it to me on WeChat. Tang Yi's face turned green with anger, yet she had to maintain her composure in front of Sheng Wei. Once I had the money in hand, I smiled and pulled Wengu away. The rest of the time I'll leave to you two parties involved to resolve it yourselves. The situation had blown up. I heard that after I left, Tang Yi failed to catch the school tyrant's eye. Sheng Wei put his cap back on and, declaring boring, walked away, leaving Tang Yi standing there alone, looking like a joke. She was ridiculed by everyone in the auditorium for a long time. Pitiful. I don't think so, because in my past life, I was the one ridiculed in the auditorium. Remembering that scene, I couldn't stop trembling. Is it too cold? Wengu took off his coat and gave it to me. His tone full of concern, I took advantage and snuggled into Wengu's arms. So warm, my heart raced. Wengu's breathing even stopped for a second before he hugged me back tightly, as if afraid I would disappear. Ruan Xiang, I remembered how Wengu liked to say my name at the cemetery. I'm here. Ruan Xiang, I'm here. If you like me, you can't like Sheng, or anyone else, okay? I unexpectedly discovered that the usually non-confrontational and disciplined Wengu had a domineering side too. A gentle nerd forcing love, how thrilling. I liked it. Later, I found out it wasn't just domineering, it was beyond that. He was so excited he couldn't sleep all night, stayed up solving problems, and organized 8 volumes of nerd notes for me. That's very much like Wengu. 08. I thought Tang Yi would be down for a while after this incident. Unexpectedly, as soon as I opened the dorm door, she knelt down with a thump. My roommates and I were stunned, even for New Year's. Such a grand gesture seemed too much. Xiang, I was wrong. Tang Yi's makeup was smeared from crying, and she lunged towards me, somewhat like a zombie. I quickly stepped back. Oh, what could you have done wrong? Tang Yi, missing her target, cried for a long time, her voice filled with tears. But her mouth only repeated, I was wrong about everything. Please forgive me. Remember how I helped you at the beginning. Don't ignore me, okay? Had Tang Yi not reminded me, I would have almost forgotten. At the beginning of the semester, I had chosen a night elective class at another campus. When I went to retrieve my bicycle after class, I found its tires had been slashed. While waiting for Wengu to pick me up, I was targeted by some thugs. It was Tang Yi who appeared and rescued me. The next day, photos of me struggling with the thugs appeared on the campus forum. A bunch of vile people started making comments based on the pictures. During that time, I was in a very bad mood. It was also Tang Yi who stayed by my side, encouraging and comforting me, but only after I died did I learn that those thugs were hired by Tang Yi. The inappropriate comments and photos on the campus forum, Wengu deleted them all overnight. Tang Yi had approached me just to exchange luck. At that time, I was frightened and emotionally vulnerable. I only saw Tang Yi's enthusiasm and kindness, but I had forgotten that there is never a good deed without a reason. It is especially true that when you are at your most vulnerable, there are very few who genuinely reach out to help. More often, there are those who take advantage of your situation to exploit whatever value you have left. Since then, I've considered Tang Yi as my best friend. When she was distressed because her work was copied by a master, I was the first to rush out to help her defend her rights, but as we fought the battle, I slowly realized it was Tang Yi who had copied the master's work first. The master had failed to defend his rights and had retaliated in the same manner. Tang Yi hadn't told me any of this beforehand. Suddenly, from being on the just side, I found myself being the unreasonable one, and I even offended the master. Meanwhile, Tang Yi was always by my side saying, "I told you, there was no need to fight for rights." I had stood up for her and offended the master, but in the end, she just disappeared into the background, noticing the camera in the corner. I guess she was up to something again. I quickly helped her up. "All right, I forgive you." I didn't expect to agree so quickly, and Tang Yi seemed a bit confused. "Really? Of course. Go wash up and get some sleep." In the middle of the night, Tang Yi pulled the bed curtains and busied herself on the bed. The bed emitted a sinister green light. I knew it was the fate-switching notebook. The next day, while Tang Yi and her roommates went out for classes, I locked the door and found Tang Yi's fate-switching notebook. It was an old, worn book. I flipped to the page with my name on it. It shockingly displayed the progress of Tang Yi Xiangruan's fate switch, 65%. Fortunately, things hadn't reached an irreversible point. I quietly changed the progress to 70%. In the following days, I pretended to be friendly with Tang Yi. Whenever I got the chance, I would increase the progress a bit more. Tang Yi became more and more reckless. She was always happy waiting to switch lives with me. She ate without care, didn't take her studies seriously, and even her glances at my boyfriend became increasingly lecherous. In her eyes, soon all of mine would be hers. On the day I changed the progress to 90%, Tang Yi's smug face couldn't be hidden anymore. I was really looking forward to the expression on her face when she discovered the truth. My relationship with Wengu became increasingly affectionate. Before class, Wengu brought me breakfast. "Thanks." Holding the hot buns, I waved and headed back to the classroom. "Wait." Wengu caught me, gently smoothing my disheveled hair with a tender look. The sunlight fell on Wengu, so warm. I reached out and playfully pinched his fair face. "Mr. Wen, give me a smile." Wengu, puzzled, still obliged. Wengu smiled, his eyes curving beautifully. I tiptoed and whispered in his ear. Haruki Murakami said, "If I love you and you happen to love me too, when your hair is messy, I'd smile and fix it for you." Wengu's breathing slowly became irregular, and as I turned to flee, he pulled me back into his arms. Too close. Wengu's intense gaze gradually took on a predatory quality. "Oh no. This is just a hallway." Seeing me avoid his gaze, Wengu pulled up his hoodie, engulfing me. "Miss Ruan, remember to breathe." It's a beautiful hair clip. Ever since I've been with Wengu, I've received little gifts every day. Sometimes it's a peeled grapefruit, sometimes a flower, sometimes a cup of milk tea. I asked Wengu, "Are you treating me like a child?" He replied, "What, can't I spoil my own girl?" I wondered, "Doesn't this wear you out?" "Simplicity works too, you know." Wengu pinched my cheek and said, "The effort I spend on you doesn't even reach 1% of my total energy, but because it's for you, it lights up the remaining 99% of my time." And, he leaned closer, "Miss Ruan, things are pretty calm now, but after we get married, it will get even more exciting." I couldn't believe the reserved Wengu could be so cheeky. My face turned redder and redder. The envious voices around interrupted my thoughts. "Wow, that's so pretty. Let me guess, did Wengu, the top student, give it to you?" My classmates teased good-naturedly, clearly more spirited after class had ended. After using the restroom, Tang Yi walked by. She had been quite indulgent with her body and mind lately, her face noticeably rounder, which didn't help her already small eyes. Her eyes lit up when she saw my hair clip and made a move to snatch it, but I dodged her smoothly. Undeterred, she said, Xiang, your new hair clip is really pretty. Can I try it on?" If this were the past, I would have naively agreed. But now, it's a gift from my boyfriend, I'd rather not lend it out. "Sorry." The next day, Tang Yi wore the same model of hair clip. Xiang, I think this design is really nice. "Wearing the same model as you don't mind, do you?" It was just like her in the past life. She would compliment my choices, then secretly buy the same things and flaunt them in front of me as if her prior compliments were a license to copy me. This kind of offense was trivial, yet it was like a thorn, occasionally nauseating. As the switch of fate progressed, Tang Yi slowly replaced me from being a counterfeit. I forced a smile without responding, and the atmosphere turned awkward. Tang Yi, looking wronged, took off the hair clip. Sorry, I didn't think you'd mind such a small thing. Wow. The first time I see someone so wronged while being disgusting. What an eye-opener, quipped Qin Shuang, a model I had found at school. Speaking up for me, I gave Qin Shuang a thumbs up. She was recognized as a striking beauty at school, beautiful and aggressive, with a straightforward personality, fitting perfectly the theme of the strong female lead in my recent designs. I thanked her as we walked downstairs. Thanks for speaking up for me, don't mention it, you're paying above market rate. Speaking up for you is the least I can do, let's work together again in the future. Or with that, she winked at me and rode off on her black motorcycle. So cool. I watched the stunning figure disappear into the distance. Suddenly someone grabbed my shoulder. Wengu's voice was deep. Am I as handsome as her? Help, the handsome Wengu is jealous, but it's quite cute. We walked hand in hand on Sunset Boulevard, the evening glow scattering a tangible tenderness around us. On the way to dinner, we ran into Shang Wei and Tang Yi. Tang Yi, taking tiny steps, ran up to Shang Wei and handed him a sports drink with a coy voice. Ah. Shang. This is for you. Shang Wei didn't stop walking, took the drink, and casually threw it in the trash. His expression towards Tang Yi was far from friendly, and so were his followers. Tang Yi stood there stunned, and seeing me, sneered. If the person giving you water today it's Xiang Xiang, would you throw her in the trash too? Shang Wei stopped in his tracks, staring at me as he replied, No. 12. I smiled and looped my arm through Wengu's. Don't worry, I won't send it. The man my best friend likes, no matter how much he likes me, I wouldn't interfere, especially since I don't like him at all. I thought I had made myself very clear, but some people just don't get it. Lately, I've been receiving gifts out of the blue. At the library, when I returned from the restroom, there was a huge bouquet of roses on my seat, facing the curious eyes of my classmates around. I wished I could just disappear into a crack in the ground. This ostentatious display couldn't possibly be from Wengu. I decisively packed up my things and left. Shang Wei appeared out of nowhere, following alongside me. He asked in a normal speaking tone, Don't like roses? Should I send something else? So slick. His loud banter in the quiet library drew many resentful glances from fellow students. I ran out of the library in one breath. This is a library. Can't you consider the setting when you talk or act? Shang Wei smirked, his tone mischievous. Alright, then I won't send them in the library next time. His response left me laughing in frustration. Shang Wei, what are you doing? You're not trying to pursue me, are you? Yeah. Shang Wei looked down, gazing at me seriously. It's funny, when I was completely captivated by him, he never looked at me this way. During the summer, the school clubs organized a social event. I was pulled in last minute to help. A few drunk students from another school insisted on forcing me to drink. Shang Wei passed by with his group, with a remark, Good dogs don't block the way. He helped me out of the situation. Back then, I realized that school bullies weren't as scary as they were made out to be. Quietly following him, it was clear to anyone what I was thinking. But despite the many girls around him, he kept me hanging. Tang Yi's behind-the-scenes manipulations, he knew all about them. He just enjoyed having me fawn over him, thinking about what he once told his friends. I chuckled self-deprecatingly. Didn't you say you would never like a goody two-shoes in this lifetime? Shang Wei paused, licked his lips, and said with a smile, I've changed. Shang Wei, do you think the whole world revolves around you? Just because you've decided to turn over a new leaf, everyone else must accept it? I pulled out a wet wipe and began cleaning my hands. But, you're really dirty. Shang Wei, enraged by my words, his pupils dilated, cornered me against the wall. He grabbed my neck, forcefully lifting my chin. His tone was dark. Let's just be dirty together then. 13. The physical disparity between men and women is substantial. I struggled desperately, but couldn't escape Shang Wei's grasp. I cursed in my heart. Sure enough, a thug is a thug. With no respect for others. Why do the good girls in novels fall for these violent and coercive types? As Shang Wei's face drew closer, I closed my eyes in despair. Wengu, if only Wengu were here. Suddenly, Shang Wei was knocked to the ground by an external force. Freed from his grip, I collapsed along the wall into familiar arms. Wengu held me worriedly, comforting. Xiang Xiang, dear, you're okay. Strangely, I didn't feel aggrieved until Wengu showed up. Like a child who falls and suddenly has an adult to lean on, I couldn't stop my tears. Wengu's punch wasn't light, leaving Shang Wei's right cheek bruised. Tui, Shang Wei spat blood onto the ground. He smirked defiantly, glaring fiercely at Wengu and said, Brother, how about a match? If I win, you let me have Ruan Xiang, and if you lose, I promise I'll stop bothering Ruan Xiang. Wengu patted me on the back and paused. You really have nothing to lose, Do you? I shook my head, not wanting Wengu to get too entangled with Shang Wei. Wengu gently wiped away my tears. Wan Xiang is an independent thinker. It's not up to you to win her over, but I don't mind defeating you in your area of expertise. At school, everyone was curious about things unrelated to studies. The pool hall was packed on the day Wengu and Shang Wei competed. The owner couldn't stop smiling. So did I. It was hilarious. Shang Wei actually challenging Wengu to a game of pool. Wengu was obsessed with pool in his teens, even making it into the top 80 in snooker. He didn't continue due to his studies, something Shang Wei obviously had no clue about. Shang Wei was a regular at this pool hall. He handed Wengu a pool cue with an air of certainty. You go first. I'm afraid if I start, some people might not get a chance to play. Wengu took the cue and calmly replied, thanks. Shang Wei's buddies started to jeer and hype him up, as expected of brother Shang. Always so generous. I guess this pretty boy will only get to touch the cue today. Ha! 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 As the balls were set, Wengu's gaze sharpened instantly and he bent down to take his shot. With a crisp strike, Wengu pocketed 3 balls in one go. The room fell silent. Seeing this, Shang Wei's buddies mocked. This nerd's got some luck. Wengu slightly curled his lips. Yes, lucky. Shall I continue? One by one, the balls went in. Each of Wengu's shots resulted in a ball pocketed. No unnecessary flourishes. He was a different person compared to yesterday when he asked me to practice with him, demanding kisses for each ball he pocketed and showing me how to play. My face involuntarily flushed. Xiang, you're blushing because you're nervous. It's okay. I coughed lightly to cover my embarrassment. Wengu definitely heard it. During a break in his shots, he looked up at me with a sly smile. Thanks to someone practicing with me yesterday, I really do feel good today. The balls on the table were quickly diminishing. Shang Wei moved from his assured slump in the chair to standing up. Some classmates whispered among themselves, don't you think Wengu is actually quite handsome? No need for us to think that. He's always been handsome and smart. How come we never noticed before? He's a good guy, low-key, not very noticeable. In less than 10 minutes, Wengu pocketed the last ball. Modestly, he said, thank you for the game. Shang Wei's prediction came true. Indeed, someone didn't get a chance to play today, except that someone was himself. As Wengu took my hand to leave, Shang Wei blocked our way. Wengu shielded me behind him. I've defeated you in your own game. Please keep your promise. Shang Wei looked past Wengu at me. What if I said I regret it? Do I still have a chance? Wengu loosened his shirt cuffs. To be honest, even if you had won today, I wouldn't have let you take Wan Xiang away, because you don't deserve her. I know you look down on people like me, and likewise, I don't think highly of you. Good at gaming, good at pool, good at picking up girls. What's there to boast about? If you can dominate in these areas, many people like me who take life seriously don't bother competing with you. You don't have the capability to support Xiang Ruan's future, so don't disturb her present. An old saying goes, a conversation can be worth more than 10 years of study. Since then, Shang Wei never came to look for me again. She's even happier than I was when she saw the news of my award. Xiang, I knew you could do it. With such a big prize, you've got to treat us all to a good meal, right? I pretended to be upset. Oh, but I'm so sad. Didn't you say I could win the grand prize, right? You also said if I didn't get it, you'd treat me to a meal to cheer me up. Tang Yi is the best. Where are we going to eat tonight? Upon hearing she'd have to pay, Tang Yi immediately went silent. But the other girls in the dormitory, often cajoled by her into treating them too, were not fond of her. How about hot pot? Let's go to Hey DeLeo. What time? 10 o'clock at night. There's a student discount. Tang Yi, see how nice we are to you? Tang Yi didn't respond at the time, but on Friday night, she suddenly took the initiative. Let's go, sisters, let's celebrate for Wan the designer. I'll treat, and then we can go sing karaoke. Before we left, Tang Yi specifically reminded me, Xiang, it's cold tonight, wear that white jacket, it looks good. I didn't know what Tang Yi was up to again. I asked Wengu to come pick me up early. The hot pot dinner went fairly normal, but at the KTV, Tang Yi seemed like a different person. She kept toasting me, but ended up drinking every glass herself. Later, she said she was cold and borrowed my jacket. The private room got a bit stuffy, so I stepped outside for some air. Intermittent groans echoed from the alley. It was dark, and I could only make out a figure being mobbed. I played a police siren sound from my phone. The thugs scattered in panic. A disheveled figure crawled out of the alley. And it was actually Shang Wei. Seeing me, he instinctively tried to hide his bruises in mud, but couldn't cover them up. He gave an awkward, pained smile that looked more like a cry. Did you play that alarm for me? I nodded. Thanks. How about I treat you to a meal? Wengu came running towards me from the light. I shook my head. No need. I ran towards Wengu. Wait a minute. I turned back to see Shang Wei, who barely stood up leaning against the wall. He gave me an ugly smile. Xiang Ruan. I'm sorry. A wayward youth finally understands love, but it was still too late. He opened his mouth as if to say something more, but finally just hurriedly added, "Never mind, go to Wengu, he's a good guy, better than me." Wengu took off his coat and draped it over me. "Why did you go out without a jacket? Are you frozen?" I slipped my hands into the pockets of Wengu's coat. "Aren't you curious about what just happened?" Wengu bowed his head and nuzzled my nose. "I saw it. Logic tells me if I were in that situation, I'd do the same, but I'm still curious, jealous, and need a kiss from Miss Ron to feel better." Tang Yi went insane. She wandered around the campus inadequately dressed, always with a foolish smile, greeting everyone with, "I'm Xiang Ruan." "I'm Xiang Ruan." I heard that after Wengu and I left that day, a dozen people wearing black hoods stormed into our KTV room. Tang Yi, who had fallen asleep under my coat to sober up, was kidnapped. I called the police immediately, but no one could be found. 2 days later, Tang Yi was thrown out of a van, tortured beyond recognition. Tang Yi went insane upon waking up in the hospital, even more absurdly. The investigation revealed that the employer behind the kidnapping was Tang Yi herself, but since Tang Yi had gone mad, nothing further could be gleaned, and the case was ultimately left unresolved, because Tang Yi kept shouting, "I am Ron Xiang." Rumors circulated that Tang Yi was jealous of me and had sought to ruin me, only to have her own scheme backfire. Only I knew that it wasn't just a rumor, but the backlash of a fortune-switching attempt. The fortune-switching never succeeded. Everything Tang Yi intended for me boomeranged back onto her. She had many chances to stop, but she chose to persist down this dark path. Misdeeds often destroy the perpetrator. Wengu has always been trustworthy. After our marriage, he indeed treated me better and better, and it was thrilling. But he had one quirk: he could only sleep well if he was holding me. On his birthday, I got out of bed early to make him a bowl of noodles. Before the water even boiled, I heard Wengu scream my name in agony. "Ron Xiang." He ran to me, pantsless, eyes red and veins bulging. He lunged forward and hugged me tightly, his tone frantic, then relieved. I was scared to death, scared to death. I stroked his head. "What's wrong?" Wengu, still frightened, nestled into my neck. "Wife, I just had a nightmare. I dreamt that someone killed you with a green notebook. In the dream, I was so weak, I did nothing. Only after you died did I start looking for ways to bring you back. I knelt down the 3,000 steps, praying for your return." As Wengu spoke, tears fell. "Wife, I'm sorry I couldn't save you right from the start in the dream." I kissed Wengu's lips. "Fool, you've already saved me from fire and water.